first there was the science of loneliness and isolation, John Cacioppo, and then those who followed, like, whoa, we are fragmenting, and we spend too much time alone, isolated, and then COVID hit, lockdown, et cetera. And our former Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, got it right. Like, it's an epidemic of loneliness. And I, as a social psychologist, interested in these social emotions, I'm like, you just look at the basic raw facts, like picnics are down by half. We don't go to movies like we used to. We don't listen to music together. The estimate is that 30% of meals in the United States, people eat them by themselves. I eat a lot of my meals by myself. We go on walks by ourselves. We don't go to church. Church is way down. So the kind of the broad sociological trends are alarming on that, fragmentation. But I think the young generation is putting it back together in really interesting ways. We know from survey data, the 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds are really interested in game nights. Those are coming back. They're interested in living together, cooperative living. They're cooking more with each other. Value-wise, they care more about community than my generation. I was the great explosion of individualism, and they're kind of like, if I choose a job, I want to make sure I'm working with other people I like. I didn't think about that. I don't know, so I think it's coming back, and I love the signs of, festivals are reappearing now. The farmers market that I've talked about, the dance groups that are now returning, contact dance. These yoga studios, 1 out of 8 Americans does yoga. I do yoga 2 to 3 times.
That's so wild.
It's amazing.
15 years ago, no one would have predicted that. Also 15 years ago, no one would have predicted that we're being told that one of the single most important health interventions that women and men should do is like lift weights. The only people who lifted weights when I was growing up were like bodybuilders and preseason football players.
Yeah. Is that true? Lifting weights is...
you never want to actually live this way, but if you could only pick one form of exercise to do once a week, that's what you would do. Just in terms of bone health, if it's done properly, you probably get some cardiovascular benefit too, but just in terms of brain health, obviously you want to do both, but resistance training clearly has a longevity benefit. But for the longest time, you just didn't see women in gyms. Very few, excuse me, very few. And if you did, they were sort of, women are pushing them heavy for them, or in some cases heavier than the guys are lifting. But regardless, that's a huge shift.
Yeah.
So many more people are in gyms. And I wonder whether or not it contributes to some sort of feeling of collective. You're training hard around other people.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I think Vivek Murthy in particular, who I deeply admire and have worked with a bit, he got our health world. Think about it. Surgeon General of the United States, the first one to come out of public health traditions, did work in India, right? And he's like, there's this social side that you've covered in your show, like to health, to physical health, to the telomerase of your cells, your DNA, and the vagus nerve and so forth, oxytocin, cortisol. It's social. There are social dimensions to our nervous system. And I think that's coming, Andrew. Like, we're starting to see, why do I go to a farmer's market? Because I feel a sense of community. And why do I love yoga? Because I'm doing these postures all synchronized with people I don't know, and I feel a sense of awe and transcendence. Why do I lift weights, right? There's the banter and the discussion and the history and the sense of, of what this all means culturally. I think that's coming. I think the gyms are appealing to it in some sense, right? A little bit more community activity, and I think it's good news. I love the Japanese onsen. You go for the water, and the springs and the heat and so forth, but they, in their wisdom, have built entire community experiences around it. Where you wash yourself and you bathe together and you eat together and there's sayings up on the walls and you spend a little time with your kids there, right? So I hope we learn because I think it's important.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot now about how we can bridge between these incredible technologies, because I am a fan, but also the non-negotiable technology of our nervous system and our biology and our psychology, right? Lately, because I have aquaria, I'm really into this thing called aquascaping, which is this Japanese form of like plants and freshwater fish, and just obsessed with it. And when the ecosystem is doing well, I'm like, oh, like I feel it's a form of. It's brought me some awe at times when like things are going well in there. I'm like, wow, it's just beautiful, and I think there are things that I would never do to my fish. I would never isolate them from one another, but I give them enough places to hide from one another because there's a lot of dominance hierarchy stuff being worked out between these discus.
Yeah.
I make sure they're on a light cycle. I make sure they're fed but not overfed or underfed, right? And I wouldn't do most of the things that we do to ourselves to my fish. I wouldn't isolate them and give them like little videos of other fish to look at. Like I know that wouldn't work. I know that they would die. I know that and so I think we can learn a lot from more simpler organisms and the sort of basic units of care and community.
Yep.
They're very similar.
Yep.
I mean, it gets played out differently, but they're very similar.